Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, we're going to be looking today at the new release of Linux Lite. Linux Lite 4.0 is released, the first of the 4X branch. And this comes with a lot of fascinating improvements. They did a great job on this. I have installed it and ran updates. I did not do anything else, so I didn't really dig into all of the things. But let's go ahead and start by looking at their website here. So you can check this out at linuxliteos.com. You can grab the distro and grab the information. So they have a variety of different things on their website. Of course, ooh, it's a computer. You can get internet on this computer? Whoa, shocking. But anyway, no, it's a great distro. It works very well on lower end computers or older computers. This is the first release that does not have a 32-bit distro, but they do mention that their 3X line will be fully supported with security updates until 2021. So if you are still running a 32-bit system, look at running that one. This will not have the information. You can get all of the release notes over here. There's a lot of fascinating things. This one is called Diamond, is the code name of this. So we have a new theme, the adaptive theme, and the Papyrus icon sets. I'm not a big fan of these types of icon sets, but if I had to use one, I think Papyrus would be the one I would use because it's flat, it's modern, but it's not annoyingly flat and modern. So not my favorite, but it's still pretty cool. We do have a welcome screen when we come in, and we'll kind of see that as we boot the system up. And then there's a few other items. There is the Lite desktop, which is, I'm guessing it's just basically all of the regular icons, but you can adjust this in a certain way. That is only for English builds as of right now. There is a new help manual built in, which has a lot of different helps. That's one of the great things about Linux Lite, is it's good for people who need a lot of help because it's a good system that works well, but it doesn't actually have it has a lot of your built-in help documents into it. There is a Lite Sounds tool. They have included time shift in here, so you can make restore points of your system. They have new Linux Lite branded applications inside of your systems menu, so you can make the various adjustments. Just more things to bring in this user-friendliness. So they're kind of bringing in the user-friendliness that you might see in like MX Linux. So that's kind of what they're looking at there. They have a new terminal. This looks pretty cool. I didn't boot into this, but that looks kind of neat. And then the menu libre for making your menu edits, grub, boot splash screen. Then of course they are running Firefox 60, Thunderbird 52, LibreOffice 6, GIMP 2.10. Woohoo! So that's kind of what we're seeing here. Thunar file manager, backup and restore as time shift is 1804. Kernel is 4.15. And there are some custom kernels you can get as well, anywhere from 3.13 to 4.16 are all available. So they have a lot of different, things. So let's go ahead and boot this distro up and see what it looks like. Okay, so we are now booted into the system. You can see that we get our nice help screen. I guess one of the challenges that I found is that if you click on these, you'd assume it would load up the window and then go right to that part, but it doesn't. All of these that you click just go right to the first step, install updates. You have to scroll down for the next. Not that that's a huge thing. Just be aware of that. I would think that clicking on it will hot link you down to that section. We have online support. We have the help manuals, forums, hardware database, code, the donate, the shop. If this is a distro you want to use, you want to help support them financially for the great product that they're doing. So over here, let's go ahead and have a look. Now, of course, one of the things I did is I set the desktop resolution to be the size of my screen, but everything worked out well. So this is untouched. You can see our clock actually gives us our 12-hour format instead of our 24 by default, so that's good. Very handy. They also put the volume on the system tray. That's one of the things they had mentioned, so you can actually get in here and do your adjustments a little bit better on your audio. And then we have a quick launch bar over here. We can show the desktop. Here's loading Firefox, Thunar, and here is the terminal. Okay, so you can see what the terminal there looks like. They actually give us a very nice system. Now let's do. Okay, apparently I can't get into the root that way. But anyway, that's a very nice looking terminal. Looks pretty cool, like that. We have here a control panel link right on the desktop, so kind of catering to the Windows users. The setup is very much like Windows. Of course, here's your menu, all your items in here. They are calling this control panel. Other systems might call this like system settings. That again caters to like the Windows crowd. So here's our appearance. We have a variety of different appearance setups. We're not going to adjust these because I really like the theming that they've already done with it. Icon sets. So they do have a number of icons in here. Here's your fonts. Other settings, show images on buttons, show images on menus, things like that. So everything in there is looking pretty good. Let's go back to the all settings. Of course, your desktop, your panel settings. I show people how to adjust the panels and stuff a lot, so I'm not going to bother with messing with these ones. Just check out any other XFCE distro, and I do that. For your display, this is, again, I think the default was like, I don't know, it was 1280, I think. I just went ahead and popped this up to the full HD setting. And of course, I think XFCE doesn't have any problem supporting multiple different desktops, and each one can have a different image. So that's actually another cool function of it. Firewall configuration, we have to enter our password. My guess is this is off by default. Most of them are. Oh, it is on by default. Cool. That's actually pretty nice that the firewall is set up. So if you are having connection issues with any particular device, double check the firewall settings before you get too far into anything else. Here is the auto settings. So this is where you get all of these settings that otherwise would be more complicated. You might not know where to look, but the Lite has done a great job of putting these in. So if you want to enable or disable your auto login, you can do it from right inside here. Here's the desktop, so you can enable what you want on it. Let's do that. Recycle bin. See what that actually does. I'm not completely certain. I'm not completely certain what the Lite desktop happens to be. Lite info, hardware database does not accept submissions from a virtual machine. Okay. Lite network shares. I'm not a regular Linux Lite user. It is very similar, though, to Peppermint. All right. Let me just see real quick if... Okay, leave me alone. Don't care. Thank you. I just want to see if by chance it actually automatically detects my network settings. I might need to set that up. Yep, I would need to set up the Samba shares in order to get that working. So, all right, we're not going to worry about that. Lite software, I believe this is your software installation. Okay, so we have the option to install software or remove software. Let's go ahead and hit the install software. And so here is a variety of different software that's not installed. So Audacity, Calibri, Cherry Tree for taking notes. We have a very nice descriptor over here, what the item happens to be. Sure, let's go ahead and install that. Why not? Installing FileZilla. Okay, so we can go back into installing software again. Okay. Now there should be more software available than just these. These are just common tasks. So let's just go ahead and quit that one. Light sounds, if you want to enable system sounds, you can do that. Okay, so I'm actually getting some light system sounds doing that. You can enable login sound, disable system sounds, things like that. Okay, so here's all the different repositories that we're grabbing from right now. System report, tweaks. So the tweaks here are these are great little, basically little scripts that will do a variety of different things. Adjusting stuff, you know, kernel installer, kernel remover, if you need to fix the boot up, anything like that. So you can get a lot of different items in here. You can experiment with some of these to see what else is in here. Let's have a look at the software. Inside your settings, this is, of course, all the various settings that we were just looking at in the menu itself. Accessories. Archive management, backups, so if you need to make some file backups. This one might be the one that could support a network backup. I know some of them do, some of them don't. My guess is this one's probably the Ubuntu one, which last I knew does, but I might be wrong about that. Even if it doesn't, there is a fix for that. I did a video on it on Linux Mint, because Linux Mint's backup tool does not allow you to back up to a network. But if you load your network server with the fstab file on boot, then your backup system can make a backup to a network server. Home folder, screenshot, under graphics, here's GIMP. Of course, this should be the new version of GIMP that just came out, and it is. This is, I think, the first distro that I'm looking at that has the newest version of GIMP installed, so that's pretty cool. Gorgeous, and they give us the single window mode by default. That is huge. I think one of the reasons some people have a hard time getting used to GIMP is the default. It does not have a single window mode enabled, and that, I think, throws some people for a loop. So enabling that is a great thing. It's awesome to see that these guys have enabled that by default on the system. That greatly helps for user friendliness. Scanner for scanning documents. We have the web browser. We have Thunderbird. Of course, I installed FileZilla, but Thunderbird's good. I love the fact that they're installing Thunderbird and not some of the other junky mail systems that are being installed in some systems. So here we have VLC as our main media player. We have our CD DVD burning application. Which one is this? Oh, no burners are currently available. Okay, well, I just want to see which one it is. Okay, XF burn. Makes sense. XFCE, duh. All right, so here we have presentation, spreadsheet, and documents are the only applications they're giving us out of LibreOffice by default. So that's actually probably sufficient. People who need math or databasing would probably be able to get in there and install those themselves. But it does look like we have our spell checker installed as well by default. That's something that at least the version of Peppermint I have does not have. I think it has spell checking enabled, but it does not have the thesaurus enabled. And so you just had to set those up separately. Oh, I wanted to close, not cancel. Don't save. All right. All right, inside of our systems, we can install, remove software. Let's see if this is the same one we had I was looking at earlier. Okay, so this is loading Synaptic Package Manager. So if you need more stuff than just the ones that were in that quick menu, those are the most common software applications, you want to load up this one, which is your Synaptic Package Manager. So that is good. They've included that as well for the more advanced people. So it's not just for beginners. It's also for more advanced people as well. We have HTOP installed. You can see right now we're only running on 566 megabytes of RAM, which is great, especially since we've already been playing around with some things. So that's good. All right. Of course, we have time shift. So time shift is, if you're used to the Windows world, time shift is very much like the restore points that Windows would do. And anytime you, on Windows, anytime you install a new piece of software, on Windows, it would create a restore point. Time shift basically allows you to do a restore point. In fact, that's even what they tell you in the startup screen. If you look at their startup screen, if you that's not the one I was looking for. I saw it somewhere. Just trying to remember where the startup screen was. Oh, there we go. Light welcome. All right, so if you come down here and hit the set a restore point, scroll down to set a restore point, that's what it tells you. Create just like on Windows a restore point so you can restore in case something goes wrong. So this loads it loads time shift. So that's what that one is doing there. All right. Other thing I wanted to see. Okay, there's desktop. A lot of images by default. So of course this is the default diamond image. That's this one. We also have a variety of different ones like this. Then we have some nice cool race cars. Very nice scenery. So a lot of really nice images in here by default that you can pick from. Of course, you can pick your own stuff as well. I'm going to go back to the default just since it's more brings in more cred to what version and things that I'm using. What I was looking for is what I kind of wanted to see is the Lite desktop. Okay, so select the desktop icons you wish to enable or disable. Okay, so that is just whichever icons we wanted to enable or disable. So network disable should get rid of my network icon. Okay, good. Now I got it. I was a little confusing for me for a minute there when I first looked at that. So I can add and remove different things. So let's see, where's my user files? Looks like though I can't easily get rid of the help manual with that method. So that's an interesting thing. All right, so there is your initial walkthrough of Linux Lite 4.0. A lot of fabulous changes, newer versions of software, the LibreOffice, the GIMP, all the new versions. Very nice system. I love their control panel, all of the various things that they've put in here to help the new users. So I see things in Linux Lite for a new user and for a more advanced user. If you're a new user, you need a little bit more hand-holding, you got the options. If you're a more advanced user, you have the ability to, boot up Synaptic Package Manager for your installations and, other things like that. The theming is, it's modern, which has never been my favorite, but the theming on this is really good. It is very nice looking. They just paid a lot of attention to fine details, giving you the feather up there in the user. Down here in your menu, you have your nice new feather. A lot more attention to your settings, and that will have not the current rolling kernel, but certainly a very up-to-date, very stable kernel. As of right now, of course, I didn't mention earlier, it is based on Ubuntu 18.04, but it does not appear as though it has the controversial Ubuntu data collection items in it. Not completely sure. Let me see if Ubuntu report is actually installed. Nope. So Ubuntu report is the one responsible for sending the data collection. And Ubuntu report is not installed. And so I would say that this is an 1804 easy to use XFCE Ubuntu type build without any of that data collection type stuff. There is a help manual up here. If you are new to Linux, you can boot this up. It's loading through your web browser, but you'll see that it is on the computer itself. And so you have everything here. You can get onto this without having internet connection. So if you are having problems with your drivers or anything like that, you can get on here and access it. So here's changing your desktop environments, changing repositories. Huh, look at that. Yeah, you can install a variety of different desktops on it. There you go. A little bit of information about how to do that. All right, so this guy here in my final analysis, if you're looking for something particularly for a lighter weight system, remember this guy was running only 600 megabytes of RAM. Great for that. It will run with single core processor. So if you're looking for something for that old computer or for a lighter end like a netbook type thing, this would be a very logical choice. It seems pretty stable, seems very snappy, even though I'm running this in a virtual box. Your setup, it looks like it requires, actually in some places, even less customization than Mint uses for me, because they give me that 12-hour clock. I'm just not a big fan of reading the 24-hour clock. We have a control panel right there on the desktop with the ability to get rid of it if we want to. Of course, here's our user files. So my overall analysis, this is pretty good. In fact, I'm thinking I might run this on my media PC for a little bit and see if it can whittle its way into my top 5 Linux distros for the closing half of 2018. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video from Switched to Linux. If you'd like to help support the channel, check out the links at the top. There is another video over here. You can check out our Patreon page down here. And you can check out shop.switchtolinux.com for information on a t-shirt like this or some other designs. Thanks for watching and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.